Gussets are essentially plates used to reinforce corners. However, creating them as plates can be tedious and time-consuming. To make this process more efficient, SolidWorks offers the gusset feature. Gussets can be created between any two planar faces that intersect at an angle between 0 and 180 degrees. To create a gusset, click the gusset icon on the Weldment toolbar. This brings up the Gusset Property Manager. In the first selection window, select the two faces you wish to join with the gusset. The gusset can be created in one of two shapes, triangular or polygonal. Select the shape you wish to use using one of these buttons. I'll be using polygonal in this example. The size of the gusset is controlled using the values in the Property Manager. Each value is labeled to correspond with the dimensions shown on the Shape button above. I'll enter values for D1, D2, and D3. The final dimension can be specified using either D4 or entering an angle. In this case, I'll use a 45-degree angle. Next, there's an icon allowing me to add a chamfer to the gusset. I'll activate it, and you can see I have a few dimensions to define like I did before. I'll enter a value for D5, and I have a choice to either define the dimension of D6 or an angle. I'll use another 45-degree angle. The thickness of the gusset is defined in this field. I'll enter 0.5 as the thickness, and specify how the thickness should be applied using these buttons. You have the option of adding thickness to one side or the other, or adding an equal amount of material to each side. Once again. The next step is to specify the thickness of the cap. Once the thickness is defined, you can specify the size of the cap. By default, this is set using a thickness ratio. This ratio can be any value from 0 to 1. A thickness ratio of 0 means the cap will be the exact size as the outer surface of the tube. On the other extreme, a ratio of 1 results in a cap the size of the inner surface of the tube. I'll use a ratio of 0.5 in this case, which results in a cap that overlaps halfway over the tube thickness. If you do not wish to use a ratio, you can uncheck the option and simply enter an offset value. Finally, you can enable the option to chamfer the sharp corners of the end cap. A single dimension defines the size of all 4 chamfers. I'll click OK and the end cap is complete. As we've seen with other features such as the plate and gusset, the end cap is a separate solid body. This means it can appear as a separate item in the Weldment cut list. We'll take a close look at cut lists in a later lesson.